There's a kind of woman a man of faith should never marry. Not because she's evil or unworthy of love, but because she will quietly erode the foundation of what you claim to believe. Marriage is not just about affection, it's about shared conviction, purpose, and the alignment of values that carry you through life when emotions fade. And too many Christian men forget that the Bible never tells you to marry the woman who makes you feel butterflies. It tells you to be unequally yoked with none. That isn't poetic advice. It's spiritual survival. The first kind of woman you should not marry is the one who treats faith like an accessory. She wears the cross as decoration, not devotion. On Sundays, she sings louder than anyone else. But on Monday, she mocks the very discipline that faith requires. She'll say, "I believe in God, but not religion." That sounds spiritual, but it's actually rebellion disguised as enlightenment. Such a woman will quietly redefine your beliefs until compromise feels like love, and conviction feels like control. Then there's the woman who worships the world more than the word. Her worth is measured in brands, her happiness in validation, her time in scrolling and posing rather than serving and growing. She may say she's a Christian, but her true religion is attention. The modern world celebrates her, the independent woman who owes nothing to anyone. But if her freedom comes from rejecting humility, service, or sacrifice, that independence will eventually become isolation. You cannot build a marriage with someone who thinks submission to God is oppression. Beware the woman who despises accountability. She's allergic to correction. Every disagreement becomes an attack. Every truth becomes judgment. You cannot build a covenant with someone who refuses to be taught. In Scripture, wisdom begins with humility, but the proud heart sees humility as weakness. This woman may quote verses when convenient, but her life will contradict every word she says. And once you marry her, she'll not only ignore spiritual counsel, she'll resent yours. Then there's the woman who romanticizes rebellion. She loves being controversial for its own sake. If the church says modesty, she'll say confidence. If scripture says purity, she'll say liberation. She's convinced that being authentic means doing whatever feels good. But real authenticity is not about rejecting rules. It's about aligning your soul with truth, even when it costs you comfort. A rebellious spirit will always find a reason to resist authority, first God's, then yours, then her own conscience. You should also avoid the woman who doesn't respect men. Not because men deserve blind respect, but because a relationship without mutual honor collapses into competition. A woman who constantly belittles men, jokes about how useless they are, or insists she needs no man, has already hardened herself against partnership. She's been wounded, perhaps, but instead of healing, she's turned bitterness into an identity. Marry her, and every disagreement will become a battle for power rather than peace. Another kind of woman to avoid is the one whose faith depends entirely on emotion. She's passionate when she feels close to God, lost when she doesn't. Her relationship with faith, and eventually with you, will rise and fall on how she feels that day. You cannot build stability on emotion alone. A spiritual life requires discipline, and discipline is what sustains love when feelings fade. The woman who hasn't learned to pray when she doesn't feel like praying will struggle to love when she doesn't feel like loving. Be wary of the woman who never forgives. She collects offenses like trophies, keeping a mental score of every wrong. A Christian marriage cannot survive where grace does not live.